Here's another completely genuine Facebook post from a UK landlord. I'm going to call her Betty. Betty says, we have 2 sofas in our property that annoyingly do not have fire safety labels. We like the sofas and may not move back into the property in a few years, so are not keen to throw them. Our agent is advising we need to remove these before renting. You might want to listen to your agent, Betty. And cannot even gift them to the tenant without being liable in the case of a fire. Are they correct? If so, can we fire test the items? Fancy that, a landlord getting very good advice from their agent, but opening it out to the internet for second opinions. Well, Betty's very fortunate because she's got some friends in the comments section who have weighed in with their own advice. Someone says, sell them to the tenants for £1 and leave them off the inventory so they take responsibility. To which someone else replies, very nice. Someone else says, yes, you can gift them and make sure they're not on the inventory. Rules don't apply to their own furniture. Well, I hope that you have not taken your friend's advice, Betty, because their intentions may be pure, but their advice is shoddy. So firstly, yes, most items of furniture left in a rented home must have that fire safety label on. It's illegal to rent out your home without it. There are few exceptions, but the rule of thumb is make sure it's got that label. If it doesn't, then the simplest option is just to get rid. There are other things you can do, contacting the manufacturer, contacting the seller of the item, or even contacting trading standards for advice. Those are the correct routes to go down. No, I'm afraid that you cannot sell the items to your tenant. So if you try to create some kind of deal where you sell the item for £1 on the basis that they sell it back to you at the end of the tenancy for £1, then that would be viewed as trying to contract out your legal obligations, which is not allowed. So the whole point of having a fire safety label on your furniture is to ensure the safety of the tenant in the case of a fire, and that comes under the Furniture and Furnishings Fire Safety Regulations 1988 off the top of my head. Now, one of the other 170 plus acts of law that a landlord has to comply with over the course of a tenancy is the Unfair Contract Terms Act 1977. And yes, I read that off a sheet of paper because I can't remember everything. That says that terms that are deemed to be unfair are not enforceable. And one of those would be a clause in the contract that is in breach of an act of law, which this would be. So, Betty, take the advice of your agent, get rid of that sofa, buy a new one from IKEA. You will be a lot safer, and so will your tenant.